Hello and welcome to Talking What's That with Jack Priest.
And Gunnar Hankerson.
And today we're going to be learning about what conversations are. Now, Gunnar, what do you exactly think conversations are? Like, what do you think a conversation is? What do you think a conversation
What I
is?
say a conversation is,
Yeah.
I think about just, topics. Like when you're talking to a friend, you're mostly trying to think of a topic to say or talk about, really. So it's like, well, the weather's nice today. See, that's a topic, not a conversation. A conversation is talking about that topic. I wouldn't really say specific detail about that topic, but it's just a nice little overview of what you think of that or that person or that thing.
Yeah. What I would say is conversations really differ with who you're talking to
Yes,
or
yes.
with. So like you might not necessarily have the same conversation with like a parental figure as you would with a classmate.
Right.
Um
Ages definitely matter. Or
age in relationship.
Definitely, yes.
Age in relationship, because you don't want to be talking about specific things with like a first grader. You
Yeah,
don't
you're
wanna
not
be-
you're
yeah.
not going to talk about geometry with
You're not going to be asking
First
a first
grader.
grader for help with pre-calculus. Like, I don't think that's how that works. So again, with conversations, they differ with who you're talking like with, what their relationship and
Yep.
age is, and there's also a big difference with what your surroundings are like, what the setting is around you, because you might be talking about like weather, like you brought up, might be talking about, I don't know, sports game or something like that,
Yep.
or a career. So if I would start talking about like what I'm doing in my life, it may not depend on what I'm doing right now or my mood or who I'm talking to, because you obviously might not exactly talk
Right.
with the 2-year-old about, I don't know, careers. I think they're
Yeah.
thinking about playing with trains,
Uh-huh.
or they might
Trains.
not even. They're 2 years old. I don't
Trains
even
and ducks.
trains and ducks. I don't even think 2-year-olds can think. I'm pretty sure the brain develops at like age 3.
Still developing, yep.
Anyways, that's off topic. But moral of the story: 2-year-olds are kind of dumb. Anyways,
2-year-olds are dumb in a way.
Anyways, what type of conversations do you have with people, Gunnar?
Conversations of, well, like if I'm talking to my friend, sometimes what comes up mostly is how close our friendship is.
Yeah.
And if I'm talking to someone that I don't talk to that much, it's going to be about something totally different than that. Maybe we talk about my friends, or we talk about, like you said, sports and stuff. And when you're at a restaurant, sometimes you talk about other restaurants and how it compares to that restaurant that you're at and different foods. Just conversations can just go on. Conversations about conversations.
Conversations about conversations. I wonder where you're getting that from.
I don't know.
Anyways, it really does. It really does depend, I guess. I don't know if I could define conversations like. In a way, to me, a conversation is just trying to get closer to someone,
Right.
right? Because the entire idea behind relationships is that you want to get closer with someone you enjoy being around.
Yep.
And someone you love talking to. You'll start to notice like their personality and traits you enjoy about them. And the list just goes on and on from there.
Right. And the conversations will change
Depending on your relationship and how long you've been
depending
talking
on how
to
close
them.
you are to them. And stuff.
Yeah, and how much you want to
Yep.
obviously say and things like
Yeah.
that. Because you won't just start opening up about your life decisions to someone you just met like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Do you think there? Here's a little bit of a segue. Do you think there's a difference between like actually audibly talking with someone and having a conversation, or messaging someone like over iMessage or like
Messaging?
any texting app or things like that?
Like messaging compared to FaceTime?
No, just talking with someone like
Oh, in
one-on-one.
person. Okay.
Yeah, in
Well,
person.
messaging, really, I used to think that I was more confident in my texts because I'm not actually seeing them and I'm not in their face.
Right. Yeah.
But it's really the same thing because you can't take back anything you say.
That is true.
You can't. But In person, you're there, and it's just different.
In person, you can't really just delete the text.
Right.
You
It's stuck.
It's more like you have to be confident if you want to like open up to someone about anything. Because you can't really take it back. You're one-on-one. You get to see their reactions. You can't just hide behind something.
Right.
So it's much more like hands-on in a hands-on approach, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because you're closer, you see them, you talk to them, you can't take back anything. You're truthful with them.
Yep.
Things like that.
It's just right. You're right there. And most of the conversations I have with people over text is like what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can talk about what you're doing right now, but when you're like talking to someone at
That's
school,
what
you
you're
can't be
doing.
like, "What are you doing?" Walking,
Talking to you.
walking and talking with you
Yeah.
in school.
That I would definitely say that there's a big difference because well, the conversations also differ.
Yep.
Because like you said, you can't really ask someone what they're doing right now if you're seeing what they're doing
Uh-huh.
right now.
Yep.
And there's just many differences between that fact. So if you wanted to have like a different conversation with someone about, let's think of something. If you wanted to have a conversation with someone about your choices right now or like what you're doing right now in like wherever you are, for that matter, over messaging them, you can't really see what they're doing. So it's much more of a you have to take their word for
Yeah.
truth.
Yep.
You-
Because a lot of times when you ask like, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" you usually get nothing. They say nothing.
Most of the time, you'll probably get nothing.
Obviously, you're not doing nothing. You're sitting there texting someone on your phone.
You'll get it. Yeah. For some reason, I thought you meant like you won't get an answer back. No,
you won't get a response.
you'll just ask someone like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Oh, you know. That's mostly just the response you'll get. Like that's what I was thinking. But you actually meant like them saying nothing.
Yeah, they actually say nothing. I get that all the time.
Whenever you get like a nothing, it's either they are doing something and they don't want you to know, or they're doing something and they just don't really care, realize it.
Right.
Like I'll be sitting there like maybe watching something or when I was editing my YouTube videos, and people were asking me what I was doing. I'm like, I don't know, nothing.
Nothing right now.
No, nothing.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I have a question for you. Gunnar.
Okay. Shoot.
Do you believe that braces are better are better than Invisalign?
Invisalign's better.
Yeah, I
You
would
can't
say.
see it.
Why? Yeah. Why do you think that? Is it just because you can't see it, or?
Well, I've had braces before. I've never tried Invisalign, but I have a retainer. I feel like the retainer is a lot like the Invisalign.
Mm-hmm.
You can take it out whenever.
Yeah.
Braces, they're stuck there until you're done.
Braces are there until you are deemed
I would-
worthy to leave.
Right. I would say retainer is less painful, but that's because the braces moved my teeth. The retainer's just keeping them there. So it's
Yeah, I would. Well, first of all, I would say because I take it or I'm using Invisalign, right?
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I actually am.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it is sort of invisible, yes, but it's much more harder to keep your teeth clean because not only do you have to wash the trays, they're called.
Oh, yeah.
You have to still brush your teeth, things like that.
Do you
That's
brush your
normal.
teeth with them in?
No.
You take them out.
You
Okay.
take
That's
them
what I
out.
figured.
You brush your teeth, and then you and then you take dish soap, and you wash the trays,
That's what I do with my retainer.
and then you have
I have to wash it,
Wash
but-
them out. Yeah. What do you think is funny? Like, what do you think humor is based on?
Not me. I'm not funny. But humor
Yeah.
for me is based on funny things.
Funny things. What do you deem fun? Like, what do you think?
I really don't laugh that much. I only laugh at my friends because they're stupid.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I only laugh at my own jokes sometimes because no. There's a good reason. There's a good reason. I promise you. Okay. The reason I laugh at some of my jokes is because I find them idiotically stupid
Yes.
and idiotically
Yes.
funny at the same time.
Yep.
So I will look at the stupid part and think I can't believe I came up with that.
That is so dumb. Why'd I think?
Yeah. Why did I think reading a mug that says Fortnite on it is funny? Like I'm looking at it right over there. It's not funny.
Oh,
No
really?
one, the camera cannot see it.
I can't
It's-
see it either.
Kevin brought it up when we were in here last week.
Oh
He showed us the picture of the Fortnite mug. It's a beautiful mug. like some humor, like we people laugh at knock knock jokes still. Some others don't. Humor depends on maturity
Maturity.
and
Yes.
age, because we may not laugh at, like I said, knock knock jokes because
Well-
we've grown up with them. They're not funny. We've matured in our humor
Yes.
to a point where instead of laughing at knock knock jokes, we'll stare at a brick wall and laugh for 5 minutes straight.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I've done that before.
And some things is just what really helps with jokes is your confidence
Definitely.
and what you have.
Definitely. You might not say the same
Like
jokes you would.
look at magicians when they make up jokes, they're very confident about what they say and what they do.
Definitely. Like it takes a certain level of confidence, especially for careers, specific careers.
Yeah.
Like someone who just graduated may not want to work in a steel mill
Right?
because it depends on your confidence. It depends what you strive for, what you want to do. It generally just it differs a ton.
Yep.
So I could understand if what you want to talk about is yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course you get the conversations like right now where you don't know how to respond or you
Mhm.
lost your train of thought, so you'll just respond with
Yes.
yeah or laugh or just
Uh-huh.
laugh.
Yep.
Spencer would say some things to us, or to me at least. And sometimes I may not hear him because he's a mask on and you just freaking barely hear him.
Mm-hmm. So
But-
then your response is usually wrong, and then they get confused. That's mostly what happens to me with my friends right now because of all the mask stuff. You're just like, they talk to you, and you're like, mm-hmm. And then they ask you a question, you say, yeah. It's like,
Huh?
what?
They'll ask you a question, you'll just laugh it off like, okay, sure.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Spencer will be saying some things in class. I won't be able to understand it. And when I see him laughing, I know, okay, I'll chuckle very soon. I'm like, this is when
Yep.
my brain,
That
my neurons activated. They saw in action. Speaking of new people here, we have like 10 new students in our grade.
5 boys,
5 boys,
girls.
5 girls. I've not even met like all of them, all of the girls.
I haven't met all the girls either. I
Yeah.
guess there's this new girl that I've never even seen before, but I have no classes with her.
Which one was her?
Her name's Anna.
Anna's in my geo class, in my physical science class.
Oh, okay.
That's all I see her in. But like you, with everything that's going on right now, you don't really get to see people too
Right.
much.
Yeah, because you're all social distancing, and they split up the classes like crazy. Like
And-
like last year, they had 2 classes. They had 2
Yeah.
science classes, 2 history classes. This year, I think they have like what 3? I
Of-
know they have 3 history classes.
of,
They have a bunch of math classes.
Yeah, because some people are taking like algebra with Mr. Garrett, for example, and some
Yeah.
others are taking algebra. I'm talking about algebra 1, and
Yeah.
some others will take algebra 1 with like Mrs. Roark.
Yeah, it's
It's
and they
it's-
both have 2 classes.
and yeah, and they already have those type of classes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's quite weird because Mrs. Roark used to be like a study hall teacher,
Study
like an
hall.
English teacher.
No, she taught English last year.
Yeah, I know she taught English, but she was our study hall teacher we had for a while. So I don't really understand why you need this many classes.
I don't. It's just they don't have enough room in the classes.
They might not. I mean, that's weird that they don't. I also find it very amusing and very weird that some teachers now are like moving rooms.
Yeah.
And so they're in.
The the younger kids, they don't even move. It's the teachers that go to every room.
Yeah, the kids are just told what their room is to
Yeah.
go to. Like I was told by Sarah, or not interns, but like she is a mentor.
Mentor,
for
yeah.
Mrs. Ratliff. Mrs. Ratliff,
Oh.
like for the third period, Mrs. Ratliff moved to the old choir room. Do you know remember
The old
that
choir
one?
room, yeah.
Yeah. Like she's in there because apparently either someone else is using her room that period. I think someone is. I'm not 100% sure, but all I know is that she has a ton of kids in that class. So
Yes.
they moved her over.
Yes, definitely.
It's also sad because Mr. Garrett is like so used to his current room
Yeah.
that
Does he have to move too?
he has to move like halfway across the building. I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
wow.
Maybe one of the 300 rooms.
Mm,
He has to move like all the way over there.
man.
And it's like
That's-
they push around these carts with all their stuff on.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, and you can't really. Do you know that hallway? Most people might not know this hallway, but there's a hallway between where the old choir room and Mrs. Albert's room is, and the high school hallway. I
Yeah.
don't know if how you could get a cart up or down there very like without
Because of the hill
letting
thing,
things
like the
drop.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird. At
Well,
least I
going
think.
back to the teachers moving around,
Yeah.
some of the new teachers are probably used to it. Not used to it, but they like okay, whatever. Because it's like some of them, it's like their first year teaching, but these older teachers are like, I don't want to leave my room.
Yeah, they're used
I've
to
been
the
in
room.
this room for like what 5 years, and now I have to
Been
go
for,
to
like, 20 years. I
3
don't know.
different, more like 20 years.
20 years.
And
This
now I
school's been
have to
around for a
move
while.
into 5 different classrooms.
The entire day. I have to fluctuate around the entire building. I got to go to a room all the way upstairs, and then I need to go to a room in the basement, and then a room in like near
Yep.
the lunchroom, and then
Yep.
that's my lunch break, and then I have to go all the way upstairs again, and then back down to the basement.
I think one of the only people who don't move is Mr. Hooper. Can't really.
I wonder.
You can't really do gym and like a history in like a normal classroom.
I mean, they switch gyms. Like they'll switch with the little kids only because they're doing archery this
Oh
weekend
yeah, it's
next.
archery.
But like they've
2 weeks.
switched multiple times. I think because I'm pretty sure it's because it's a bigger class. Because I've seen like maybe 20 to 40 small children just run in. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're switching
Nice.
because they can't hold them all in there.
Yeah.
It's surprising how many teachers are just going about the building. It's weird.
It's really weird.
Yeah. Okay. Another.
So going back to the conversation thing, conversations just come up.
Yeah.
Like just like that.
Con-
And you
conversations
can
will
talk
come up
about
a
it
ton.
for a very long time.
On and on and on. So like conversations basically will just go to a point where you'll want to talk to someone because you enjoy it. But then at the same time, it's either you're running out of conversations to talk about,
Yeah.
or you have too many to talk about.
So you don't know which one.
Yeah.
Well, and you're trying to figure out, well, what does this person want to talk about? Because
Yeah.
people don't have the same interest either.
Yeah.
So it's like let's say you're in the band and
Yeah.
they have nothing to do with band and they play sports and you don't do sports at all. So you don't want to talk about either one of those. Because if
Yeah.
you talk about music, you're going to be the one leading on the conversation. They're going to have just a couple words
They're just
about
gonna
it.
have to agree because they might not know too much about
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So about being a videographer, because we technically are videographers.
Yep.
We'll film the services, and then you'll film games, and I want to
Yep.
film games.
Games are fun.
Games are really fun. When I did that one game, it was really fun.
Oh, at the home game for football?
It was the homecoming game. Yeah.
Oh,
when
yeah,
It was
yeah.
or the Knights against the Rosecrans.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good game. That was good. We won that game.
Oh, yeah, we did win that game.
Yeah, we won that like 1-3.
That's
1 of
always nice.
3.
Yeah.
That is good though. We've started winning games after like 5 years of losing.
It was like
straight losing.
5 years of just
like no winning.
bad.
Yeah, 5 years of utter garbage. But we got to a point where we're like, okay, we're kind of doing something here. We can start winning now. We're actually doing okay. We have more
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Because especially with our grade, when we got into high school, everyone was not everyone, but like most sports, because we have a ton of guys who want to do sports.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go into sports and they'll do things because we have a ton of people who, I wouldn't say influence, but we're in that point where we're like going up to like
Yeah.
end of Gen Z, right? So we're
Mhm.
all not really conforming, I'd say conforming,
Right.
but I would say we're sort of in a middle ground.
Well, all these new kids too,
All the
coming
new
from
kids
the other from the other schools.
realizing like our customs,
Yeah.
and then like coming in with trends. Like
Mhm.
I never would have thought the two Gabes and Ezra and Jonathan and Jeremiah. I never would have thought they'd be doing some of the stuff they're doing here.
Right.
But then again, that's because they're being influenced by a ton of people around them right now.
Oh yeah.
So
It's just people who you hang out with. You just start doing what they do.
yeah, of course. It's those are what influences are.
Yep.
You'll hang around with one of them, and then all of a sudden you'll just be influenced by their decisions, by
Yep.
what they're doing, by their mood, their tone, how their character, things like that, and you'll start to pick up on them. You'll
Wait.
start to be like them.
Yeah, and it can sometimes could be bad. I mean, pretty bad, And sometimes it can be good. Like, let's talk, like, religion.
Yeah.
Like being a Christian. If let's say a new kid came and you're really good friends with him now, and you realize he's not Christian, well, maybe you start taking him to church with you, and
You start having conversations to try
Conversations
and
about it.
help him and bring him to
yeah,
bring him to your sort
Bring
of
him to
side,
Christ.
at least what
Yeah.
you see from it.
yeah,
Because I mean, obviously, we can't really see everything from where we are right now.
mm-hmm,
So you'll try and show them. You'll try and show them like things close
yeah,
to what you are like trying to
Yep.
find. So it just really differs, and Gunnar, I think actually this is where we're gonna have to end it. So
Oh.
thank you all for watching and listening for that matter.
Next week will be. Is it the
Will
music
be-
topic?
We'll be talking about our opinions on music genres. Make sure to tune
Yes.
into that on
And then-
Talking What's That?